It's not even that sort of media attention that is really the worst. The worst is Corey Lewandowski. So Corey Lewandowski is just garbage. Okay, Corey Lewandowski was campaign manager for a certain period of time during the Trump campaign. He was garbage then. He is garbage now. He's really bad at his job. He was on Fox News last night, and he was confronted by an illegal immigrant advocate, an advocate for illegal immigration. And this advocate for illegal immigration talks about a really terrible case of a kid with Down syndrome separated from the kid's parents who had crossed at the border illegally. And Corey Lewandowski responds to this with all the compassion of a potato. So here he is.
I read today about a 10-year-old girl with Down syndrome who was taken from her mother and put in a cage. I read about did you say want to a 10-year-old with Down syndrome
what
being
I
taken
said
from
is
her
you
mother?
Can pick anything
How
you
dare
want
you?
up, but the bottom line is very clear.
How dare you?
Okay, that is nuts. Okay, forget about the reaction of the guy, which is made for TV. But Corey Lewandowski, womp to a story of a 10-year-old with Down syndrome being removed from her parents. No. And then here's the problem. You can do this policy and still look compassionate. You can do this policy and still say, I want to change the state of the law because we have to both enforce our borders and we have to ensure that kids are taken care of. These are not mutually exclusive. But Corey Lewandowski is such an idiot that he goes on TV and makes it sound like he doesn't care what happens to Down syndrome children who are 10 years old and removed from their parents. Now listen, anybody with any iota of sympathy feels terrible for these kids. You remember when you were left at summer camp? Imagine that, except that you were forcibly removed to summer camp and your parents didn't know where you were going, okay? The policy itself is deeply flawed. But again, this is not on the Trump administration. This is on the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the fact that this was never solved at the legislative level for the last 20-odd years. But to just go out there and say womp, when you're talking about some of these heartbreaking stories, idiotic in the extreme, foolish in the extreme, because Corey Lewandowski is an idiot. Corey Lewandowski is a fool. There's talk about him coming back as chief of staff or bringing him back into the Trump administration. Trump would be foolish to do that, really foolish to do that, to bring Corey Lewandowski. The man has the, honest to God, the man has the IQ of a chilled vegetable, not even like a room temper, like a cucumber that's been in the fridge for too long and has started to mold. It's so bad for Trump's policy. It's bad for the president to have representatives like Corey Lewandowski going womp when people are talking about the suffering of children. It would be the equivalent of after Parkland, somebody goes on TV and they're talking about the horrors that happened at Parkland, and instead of people saying, yes, that was indeed horrifying and terrible, we need to find a way to stop that. One of the ways to stop that is not gun control, but better school security. It would be like Corey Lewandowski going on TV and somebody's talking about somebody shot to death in a school, and Corey Lewandowski goes womp because he's a moron. And this sort of political polarization, this sort of political conflict where rhetoric on both sides matters much more than workable policy, it really makes me angry. It's really frustrating and it's really stupid because there is a workable policy solution to all of this. Ted Cruz proposed it yesterday. Now, Ted Cruz's bill, right, which is supposed to be brought up, I guess, today in the House of Representatives, right, with the help of Speaker Ryan, the House is going to vote on a bill that unites illegal immigrant families at the border, and Democrats are expected to vote against the bill. They're getting a clean, standalone bill to formally prevent child separation, and they're going to vote no en masse, says Guy Benson, right? Demonstrating once again the bad faith that Democrats have on this entire issue. Now Republicans have a win if they look compassionate. But that means you can't send out people who are cretins to represent you on television. You can't send out Corey Lewandowski. The last time an object passed through his head was never. Right? I mean, and I'm including his brain. Right? I mean, like there's nothing in there.